William Hildebrandt joins me now on set for a look at what's making headlines across the world, and of course this ongoing hostage situation in Kenya taking headlines.
That's right. I'd like to begin with looking at the website BuzzFeed, which has compiled a series of videos and tweets from Twitter. Basically, there was the Kenya Daily Nation Sunday edition newspaper ran this photo, and it sparked outrage about the graphic image. Now, we should say this woman survived the attack, but that didn't stop the controversy. The CEO shortly afterwards was on national television and apologized for it. Several other top staff also apologized on Twitter, but the managing editor who approved the photo was eventually sacked for it. Now, one interesting thing, this same photo was used on the New York Daily News front page. Didn't cause much of an uproar in the United States, though.
All right, well, there's some other feedback from Kenyans, and some were unhappy with the Vice President, William Ruto.
That's right. Op-ed in Kenya Today says basically Ruto's at The Hague facing trials of crimes against humanity. He's asked for this trial to be postponed so that he could return home, but some see it as evading justice. Now, the op-ed piece says, look, follow the law. If you want to fight lawlessness, follow the law. You're not a doctor, you're not a health worker. You owe it to the country to stay in The Hague and try to clear your name.
Well, he has actually been, that trial has been adjourned, so he will return. It'll be interesting to see reactions to that. Well, let's talk now about the militants carrying out this attack. Now, the group Al-Shabaab, the Somali Islamist group, they've claimed responsibility.
That's right. The Daily Telegraph has a piece called A New Source of Terror. They say the Nairobi attack is a sort of coming of age for the group that was basically unknown 10 years ago. After 9/11, there were dozens of terrorist groups popping up around the world, and Western intelligence agencies laughed and thought that Al-Shabaab was too violent and too quarrelsome internally to ever get organized. And now that this is sort of like they are one of the most advanced and sophisticated groups in the world, and the piece looks at the Somali population within the UK and says there's some 100,000, and that many of them are jobless and disaffected in similar ways as the Pakistanis who were behind the July 7th bombings a few years ago.
Well, it looks like The Guardian also takes a look at the group.
That's right. So the leader of Al-Shabaab is a man named Ahmed Abdi Goden. He consolidated his power in June. He executed 4 commanders, 2 of whom were the founders of Al-Shabaab. The spiritual leader fled the group. He's pledged to carry out jihad, basically, until every continent in the world has Sharia law implemented. The piece says that this attack follows suits with what his very tough words are, and wonders if the group, despite having a crackdown within Somalia, if it isn't in some way reinvigorated.
All right, well, now you found one piece that says, despite this attack, Kenya can emerge stronger from the events.
That's right. It's written by Michael Meyer, who was a former communications director under Ban Ki-moon at the United Nations. And he says Kenya, along with other African forces, have been trying to prop up Somalia since 2011. But Al-Shabaab is hardly the biggest threat in the region. There's armed militias in Sudan, warlords in Libya, and there's still terrorists in Mali. But it says that the writing's on the wall. If it's it has to stand now to fight terrorism, otherwise pay the price in the future.
All right, well, let's move on from this Nairobi standoff. And of course, the other big news are the German elections that took place yesterday on Sunday.
That's right. I'd like to take a look at some photos that Der Spiegel Online published, a sort of slideshow of some of the voters. And we see that voters went to the polls, some of them in traditional outfits, wearing their lederhosen and feather hats, as we can see here on my computer. Some of them went in their dirndl dresses, and it's quite a festive atmosphere. I think it's lovely. I wish I could vote in that. And the belle of the ball, of course, Angela Merkel. And some say that she's the face of the Eurozone's strongest economy, but they're facing challenges because even though it's the economic star, industry is stagnant, labor market's rigid, and so she won her 3rd term, but voters basically complicated it moving forward.
All right, and real briefly, we're going to change pace and talk sports and French basketball.
That's right. So Les Bleus won the EuroLeague final for the first time after 36 appearances. On the team, they have 4 professional players, 3 of whom are from the San Antonio Spurs. A bit of redemption for them to win the European Championship after they lost the NBA Championship earlier this year, so a bit of joy for them.
All right, William Hildebrandt with a look at the international papers. Well, do stay tuned. You're watching live from Paris. Coming up after the break, we'll have more headlines and focus where we head to the west of Paris and take a look at one city's struggle to fight against drug violence.